I don't think it's on. Just let me check if it's on. Just need to check the button. Honey, did you check that the camera was on? Could you do that for me? Yeah, I think it's on. Is there anyone out there? But anyway, I'll just say my piece, because you know, I just gotta say my piece. I'm just one of those people in the world that's just gotta always just be saying my piece to everyone I meet. Like the other day when I was in the cafe having my scone, and I was having a little internal debate with myself as to whether to put the jam first or the cream first, because you know, I've traveled to that place, England, and you know, there's a whole national debate about what you do with that. So I was there, I was in a little bit of a quandary. My eye started to wander across the way, and I saw this mother with all the kids. Oh, there were just hundreds of them. I'm sure there were hundreds of them. I mean, they were all right, and they were well behaved, and they were all dressed and all turned out and all that. But you know, there just seemed to be hundreds, at least five kids. Yeah. Started to have a bit of a think to myself. I pulled out my shopper. Yeah, I like it. It's a good one. And I had a look at my diary, and I started having a bit of a look at the date today, and I realized that today is a school day. Why are those kids in school? I looked over to the kids and I said to them, "Hey kid, why are you not in school today?" And you know what those kids said to me? They said, "Ma'am," "we're homeschooled." Homeschooled, I said? What's that?
Believe it or not, I've been that mother sat there with my children and somebody's come and asked me why they're not in school. I don't understand where people in the general public feel that they have the right to come and ask such personal questions of other people. I just don't understand it. It's not something that I would personally do. And yet people do it all the time to home educators. Now this is a bit of a tongue-in-cheek look at life, but you know, most of us have had some kind of experience like this.
So I asked her, "Lady, why are your kids in school?" Because you know, I have a right to know these things. I have a right to walk up to strangers whose kids are out of school and say, "Lady, why are your kids not in school?" Sir, why are your kids not in school? Are you like one of those sickos? Gotta watch out. National service right here, making sure all the kids, I know what they're doing. So I said to those kids, "So, kids, what about socialization? What are you doing about that then?"
So what about socialization? You've seen the Matrix where there's a red pill and a blue pill and you have to choose which one you're going to take. Home education is a little bit like what happens when you choose the right kind of pill. When you enter a home ed community, you start to understand just how big and vast and wide it really is. That children aren't at the kitchen table all day long. And in fact, most of us have to scale down the amounts of activities that we do with other people simply so that we can do things around the house and get other kinds of learning done as well. The home ed community is vast. There are children from all races. There are children from all socio-economic backgrounds. Children go into group activities often with people that are younger and older than themselves. Unlike school, it actually gives them a more real life example of what socialization is. Because I don't know a single person that goes off to work every day and just mixes with the same kind of people, the same age, doing the same thing. Classrooms, really? Does that prepare you for life? When you think about how you spend your days as an adult, I'm not convinced about that.
And I looked at that poor mother and I said, "Patience?" That wasn't her name, by the way. That was just something I was thinking about. Patience. I would never that to homeschool. No way.
Patience. Yeah, I was just born with bucket loads of the stuff, you know, because I'm a saint. Patience, like anything else in life, you have to work at. You have to develop it. You don't just decide, "Hey, I'm going to home educate," and wake up the next day and you are just overflowing with patience. That just does not happen. You go on a diet, you have to work at it. You learn a new sport, you have to work at it. And patience is a little bit like that. It is something that you have to develop. So yeah, there are going to be days where it's hard. But you know, parenting in general is like that. And if we can't learn to develop patience for our kids, then...
And I said, "Lady, we couldn't afford to homeschool in my day. I afford to homeschool now. How are you doing that?
My personal experience with home education and its affordability is that it can be as cheap and as expensive as you want it to be. What you need to do is live within your means. Every year we sit down and we work out a budget for our home education. And hopefully, fingers crossed, I stick within that budget. And if I can't afford something, then I don't do it, or I find a cheaper way of making it happen. In those days I had 4 under 6 and I was pregnant with number 5. And I understand the stress that living on one income with a family can cause people. You can do it frugally, you can do it cheaply, and you can do it in line with your values and your budget.
Shouldn't your kids be in school with proper qualified teachers? Who do you think you are thinking you can do that? Are you qualified?
Am I qualified to homeschool? Technically I am. I trained to be a primary school teacher. I wasn't qualified when I brought my baby home from hospital to breastfeed it. I didn't have any experience in that. I didn't know how to toilet train. I didn't know how to teach a child to talk or teach a child to walk. I didn't know how to teach somebody to tie up their shoelaces. I didn't know how to teach somebody how to brush their teeth. They're just things that we did and we figured out along the way. We spoke to other people about it. We read books, we gleaned information. And yet I didn't fail in any one of those tasks. I just did them. Do I feel that I have to be the font of all knowledge to home educate my children? Not on any level. I know how to read. I know how to figure out things. I know where to find information. I know where to access services in the community. I'm a relatively intelligent person. I think that in the same way that I found things out when my children were little, when I learned how to parent a teenager, when I learned how to parent an adult child, or not parent an adult child, how to hang back and just let them live their lives, you just figure this stuff out. You don't have to know it all before you have kids. And you don't have to know everything to know how to home educate them.
I bet that you spend all day in your pajamas. I bet you do.
Do I home educate in my PJs? Heck yeah. Like, who wouldn't? We obviously don't go out to the shops in our pajamas. Sometimes we do home educate in our PJs. Sometimes I clean the bathroom in my PJs. Radical.
How do you know how to deal with bullies? That's what I said to them there kids. Yep, I asked them all the questions.
Do I think I'm keeping my kids in a bubble by home educating them? Not at all. I care about my kids too much to make sure they're not prepared for real life. And if you think that Home Ed Land is some kind of perfect utopia, you are wrong. Where there are people, there are problems. There are group situations that children go to, kids fight, kids fall out, parents disagree. The same skills that you have to learn to cope in a school situation with other people, you have to learn when you deal with other home educators. Come on, you know, we're people. It's not like there are like perfect people and imperfect people. Like wherever I go, people struggle with the same things. There are bullies everywhere I have ever been, whether that be in churches, whether that be in supermarkets, whether that be in schools, whether that be in home ed. Wherever there are people, there are problems. And what we need to do is equip our children and ourselves to deal with them.
And what about those people that are from different places, you know, different cultures, that aren't like you? What are you gonna do about that then?
I think my children have been exposed to all kinds of people across all walks of life in all kinds of situations, because that is something I value. So if that is something that you value, then you will make sure that that happens for your children. If you don't value it, whether your children are at school or whether your children are home educated, it won't happen. But let's face it, I've been to schools that are homogenous. I've lived in towns that it's felt like that. So you can't tell me that the rest of society doesn't function like that sometimes.
And how are you gonna play cricket? Huh? Or football? Or sing in a choir? Huh? How are you gonna do that? Huh? Because that's what my grandkids do. They do that all the time at school, every day. That's all they're doing.
Homeschool kids can never play sport and sing in choirs and take part in group activity. My kids have played sport because, you know, we let them out on weekends. And so even if we couldn't find an activity in the home education community to, you know, fulfill that need, there are other places that we can go to, like sporting clubs that are open on weekends with other kids that they can play with. But my kids have done plays. They've joined other drama groups. They've taken dance lessons. both in the homemade community and in society at large. They've sang in choirs, they had opportunities, they've done things, they've been out there.
You know, I think that homeschooling is just something that crazy people in the US do.
Homeschooling is not just something that happens in the States. In England, it tends to be called home education. I have home educated both here in the UK and in Australia. I can tell you, it's not just an American thing.
It must be nice for your mama to sit around all day in a cafe with your kids, not having to work, staying home in your pajamas. And I look out and I see all those women out there today with real jobs, and you're just at home in your pajamas.
Homeschooling parents are just mums that stay home and don't work. Well, you know, some of them are. That's what I am. I mean, I have a job within our own company and our own business, but for the most part, I've been a stay-at-home mum with my kids, home educating. But loads of my friends work that share the home education between both sets of parents, where dad might work from home and do things with the kids, and mum might go out to work. I know plenty of women who blog, I know plenty of women who vlog, I know people who run businesses from their homes. So no, I wouldn't say that these days every home educator I know is a woman that stays home full-time with her children. I think by and large they are women, but in fact I think the stay-at-home mum that I probably fall into the category of, when I look around my friendship group and the people that I know, I don't think it's as stereotypical as what people think it might be.
And I said to that mother, love, how are they ever going to get prepared for life? How are you going to do that? Having them at home all day?
Homeschooled kids are unprepared for college. Mine weren't. My second child will graduate from uni in July. My first graduated from his university course. I've got a third at university. I've got a fourth that may or may not go to university, but he works, and he works all the hours that, you know, he's sent under the sun. So no, regardless of whether our kids go to uni, whether they go to college, whether they enter the workforce, it's not been my experience that they've been unprepared for that.
I said to those kids, tell me what 5 times 5 is. And can you spell ignorant, hey? Can you do that for me? I think you should show me what you can do right now. Yeah, I think that's my business, to make sure that you can do those things.
Thankfully, I've not come across too many people that have started to quiz my children. Well, at least not in my presence. I certainly hear of other people that have had that done. It'll be interesting to know if the kids have. I must ask them that question.
When the lady left, we'd had a real good chat, and she took her time to tell me about a lot of this homeschool stuff. I was real glad, you know, I had to ask my questions. Just had to know, make sure she was doing the right thing with them kids. Yeah, because you know, we just can't trust each other these days. Can't trust each other to parent. She told me that she had 2 real good friends. She told me she was doing some kind of collab with other homeschoolers. April, I'm out of focus, over at The Rugged Path, and Ingrid, Mommy and Mia Homeschool Chronicles were joining in as well or something. She said something about some YouTube thing, and that I could check down in some description box to find out. Said I could just look down there, and she said there's loads of other homeschoolers that are doing this collab thing. Trying to bust myths, bust a myth or something like that. I don't know, but you know, if you're into that YouTube thing, you should probably go and check them out. You know, I reckon they're probably really good people. But anyway, I just wanted to share my day with you because, you know, I got nothing better to do really than to just terrorize other people and ask some questions and make videos about it. So anyway, I'm gonna see you all later. Something about flip sides, something about you being awesome or something. Yeah, bye for now.